Lord of the Rings, easily one of the most iconic trilogies of all time and definitely in my top 3 of favorite films of all time. But what makes this trilogy so special to me is a lot of these scenes were filmed within my own country of New Zealand, consistently showcasing our stunning landscapes and scenery throughout the trilogy. If you're new to the channel, I'm Brian and I specialize in Lego photography. And lately I've been obsessed in recreating iconic scenes from these films and actually shooting in the exact same locations as they did for the films. Places like Mordor, Mead's Wall, and even Gollum's Pool. If you want to check out the full video of that, I'll link it below, where we travel to Mordor basically. As more Lord of the Rings sets gets released, the more chances I have to recreate these iconic scenes. And today is no different. We have got the iconic scene between Balrog and Gandalf, and we get to see the Balrog actually built in Lego form for the very first time, which is very, very cool. We're not going to just be photographing the set by itself, but we're going to have the help of some Lego LED lights provided by Briksmax. In this video, I'm partnering with Briksmax to essentially recreate this scene as best as I possibly could. Now, if you don't know who Briksmax are, they are a custom LED Lego lighting company that provide LED lights for your Lego sets. And the lighting kit for the Book Nook is no different. It's designed to highlight the depth and fiery atmosphere of this epic scene. And for me, photographing it is going to make it 1,000 times better. I'll put timestamps within this video so you can jump to where you want. As far as the unboxing goes, it comes in a nice little package with numbered bags, a user guide, and of course the instruction manual. Following the instructions and installing these lights is pretty easy. You disassemble parts of the Lego set and simply replace them with the cabled lights, threading them between the studs. Eventually, all the small wires lead to the back of the set into this small panel where you plug everything in, and it's all powered by a battery box that holds 3 AA batteries, which are not included in the box. You can tuck away the wires depending on how patient you are, but because they're so thin, it's pretty easy to hide them away. So, onto the plan. The battle between Balrog and Gandalf is probably one of the most famous battles in cinema history, and also one of the most memeable. I'm going to utilize these lights as best as I possibly can, and also use a few other tricks along the way as well to make these shots look really, really hectic and almost frame to frame with the actual movie. Now, I want to shoot in a space where I can control the lighting, and my garage has always been really perfect for that. I've done many shoots in here, always resorting to a fold-out table and a black foam background hung from the ceiling for my dioramas. To create the huge fall below the bridge where the battle takes place, I used a few stone tiles stacked together. Not only does this help elevate the set, but can add some extra textures in the ground as well, leading towards the bridge. The last time I partnered with a lighting brand, my equipment was not the best at all. I had minimal lighting and a terrible setup, and I mean, the photos, they turned out okay, but this time we're kind of upping the ante, and I'm using the Ulanzi bicolor light to give the whole scene that signature like orange tinge that you see in the movies. And then I'm using an additional Ulanzi VL120 video pocket light for additional orange hues behind the Balrog, because when you put smoke in front of that light, it creates a really nice haze that I hope we can get in this. And finally, the Ulanzi smoke machine to bring the whole scene to life. The Balrog in this film is practically a ball of fire, so we definitely need smoke in this scene to make it really, really sick. I think this smoke machine is really going to pull these photos through. So you can kind of see around the set there are lights for the flames, for the structure itself, a light inside Balrog's mouth, and even his flame whip lights up. And I really want to showcase all of that as best as I can in these photos while creating these epic scenes. Now, what's great about the whip LED strip is very flexible to move around, so I could position exactly where I needed it for the first shot. A wide angle of the Balrog throwing his whip with Gandalf on the bridge facing the beast. I set my camera on a tripod and started spraying smoke everywhere. Now in Lightroom, I didn't do anything too crazy with the colors. I just kind of bumped the contrast a bit and changed the temperature to orange a bit, just like in the films. So there was 2 photos that had really good smoke distribution. So I took them into Photoshop to merge. Now, when you're merging 2 images together, it's important to line them up properly. Even if your camera's on a tripod, clicking that camera can move it slightly, and both the images might be slightly off from each other. So I lowered the opacity and then just moved them around to make sure that they were fitting along the same. I then added a brush to Gandalfs Staff, changed it to linear dodge, and enhanced the Lego LED light to really sell this image. Now with the bridge, I kind of wish I turned the tile lengthways to kind of look like it continues onto the actual bridge itself. But anyways, there was was like a small dark patch in that tile, and so I took a snap of the original bridge, moved it back slightly and masked it to fill that space. I then lowered the exposure and brushed over the tile since it's far away from the Balrog and the light source isn't big enough to fill that area. Now in the films it's very prominent that we see the Balrog with really fiery eyes and nostrils, so I wanted to do my best to recreate that. I added a new layer and painted over those areas and set them to linear dodge and lowered the opacity to show his fiery expression. I slapped a dark vignette and boom, this was our first image done. Compared to the original frame, I think we did pretty well with the space that we had. I mean, this set isn't the biggest in the world and there's a lot of space to fill, and that's where that smoke machine really comes into play. Now, of course, in the film, when Gandalf is versing the Balrog, there's a lot of times where he's holding up his staff, and that was the next scene I wanted to recreate. So after changing his pose, I got a little bit lower. Although it's a really tight frame, I still think it's a really, really cool image. Like, we've got the smoke in the background and we've also got the staff being the main centerpiece, and then just the Balrog kind of like reaching for it, which I think is really cool. And of course the whip is all in frame as well. And it's also cool to see the little tile of, you know, you shall not pass as well. I think that's really sick. And then for the next angle, I got even lower, and this time I wanted to make it look like there was smoke coming out of the Balrog's mouth. So I took one photo of the smoke around the scene and then set up the smoke machine beside his mouth, and using the remote to do like little bursts of smoke to make it look like he's breathing it out. Then later I blended them into the final image with the lights and the smoke together. The Balrog actually looks alive in this one, which I think is pretty damn cool. And again, the Briksmax light just makes the smoke look so sick. Like, without that light, you wouldn't really be able to see that smoke. Now, I will admit, I did clean up a few wires in the final image because I felt like they were a little bit too distracting. Now, I could have easily hid these wires while assembling it. If you don't have Photoshop and you're photographing with these lights, it's pretty easy to hide them. Now, when you're shooting small sets like this, it's important to get a wide variety of photographs. So getting a wide, a medium, and also a close-up. So I moved on to some more dramatic frames, and I mean, just look how fierce Balrog looks here. This photograph was really cool to shoot. I was just continuously spraying that smoke around his face and like doing my best to encapsulate him in the smoke and then make sure that his face and his eyes were in the frame, peeking through that smoke. And also it was cool to see that you have like the fire on his back as well, which have really cool LEDs on it. Like, it's got these breathing LEDs, and again, that light inside his mouth just makes the scene look so much more epic. Without the lights, these photographs wouldn't be as good as they are. So Briksmax knows what they're doing. Then finally ending on Gandalf with him looking at the Balrog, and you can just see the orange hues that have been illuminated from the Balrog on his face and him holding the staff, and the nice contrast between those colors I think works really, really well. So we've got the close-up, we've got the mid-range, and now we finish with the wide angle. And this right here, this is why the lighting kit is so useful here, because just look at this. You can see all the lights that are helping to make this scene look really, really sick, and the smoke itself just fills that negative space that's behind the set. And although you can see the wire of the whip, I didn't really care too much because it's like, you know, it's so small, and I feel like it's kind of cool to see how these have been lit up, and just being able to see the stone tiles as well is just adds texture to the image. Definitely my favorite image is the wide angle of this. I'm super stoked with it. I hear a lot of people hating on the set because it's like kind of empty and stuff, and it's like, what would you expect from a book nook, you know? I mean, there's only so much you can do, and the fact that they were able to fit a Balrog and Gandalf into this like bridge scene is pretty impressive. So when you're shooting photos like this, you just have to get as creative as you possibly can and find ways to fill the negative space. And in this case, we've used a smoke machine and it fits perfectly. And you can also see how the pocket light in the background just kind of helps this whole scene as well. So yeah, that was me using the Briksmax lighting kit. A huge thank you to you guys for sending out these products. I mean, they really helped with these photos. I mean, if you can't already tell that, you know, without these lights, these photos wouldn't be even remotely possible. So they've captured the essence of the scene so well. So big props to them. I'll leave a link to their site down below. But yeah, I'd love to know which one of these photos was your favorite. That is another Lego Lord of the Rings recreation scene done. I mean, I think we've done like 4 or 5 now. All of them seem to be delivering very, very well. I guess I'll see you on the next video. Like the video, share it around, subscribe, do all that good stuff. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.